Imagine this. A man stands before a crowd, his voice like thunder rolling through the streets. His words shake the very souls of those listening. Merchants, beggars, nobles. People fall to their knees, weeping, confessing their sins, terrified, and yet drawn to this preacher who speaks of judgment and salvation as if he had just returned from heaven itself. Some whisper that he's an angel, others claim that he has the power to raise the dead. But who is he? And why does he roam the lands, tireless, relentless, proclaiming the end of days?
Welcome to Saint Stories.
His name was Vincent Ferrer, born in Valencia, España in 1357. From the moment of his birth, signs and wonders seemed to follow him. His father dreamed of his son's destiny, a preacher clothed in white, leading countless souls to God. An old woman receiving alms from his mother declared, "You carry an angel within you." Yet, destiny does not come without struggle. When Vincent declared his desire to join the Dominican order, his mother wept and pleaded with him to stay. But Vincent, already ablaze with divine purpose, knew where he belonged. He entered the order at just 19, immersing himself in study, logic, philosophy, the scriptures, theology. The knowledge of God was not enough. He longed to proclaim it to the world. But this was no ordinary time in history. The church was torn apart not by heretics or invaders, but by its own leaders. The Western Schism, 1378 to 1417, had created three rival popes, each claiming to be the rightful successor of St. Peter. It all began when Pope Gregory XI died in 1378, and the cardinals, pressured by the Roman people, elected Pope Urban VI in Rome. However, a faction of cardinals, dissatisfied with his harsh reforms, declared his election invalid and elected a rival pope, Clement VII, who took up residence in Avignon, France. This resulted in two competing lines of papal authority, dividing kingdoms, bishops, and entire religious orders. Later, in an attempt to resolve the schism, a council in Pisa elected a third pope, making matters even worse. Vincent found himself caught in the eye of the storm. He served as confessor and theologian to one of these claimants, Cardinal Pedro de Luna, who would later become Pope Benedict XIII in Avignon. Vincent believed in him, fought for him, but doubt gnawed at his soul. As years passed and De Luna clung stubbornly to his claim, Vincent's health deteriorated. He fell into a deep illness, teetering between life and death. Then one night he had a vision. Christ himself appeared, flanked by Saint Dominic and Saint Francis, and commanded him, "Go through the world and preach Christ." From that moment, Vincent changed. He turned away from courtly intrigue and embraced his true calling, a missionary preacher. For the next 20 years, he roamed Spain, France, Italy, Switzerland, even England and Scotland. He preached in town squares, in fields, in cathedrals packed to the brim. His sermons were not gentle whispers of comfort. They were fire and storm. He spoke of repentance, of the final judgment, of the fleeting nature of life, and miracles followed him. The blind saw, the lame walked, the dead were set to rise at his command. People followed him by the thousands, entire cities converted overnight. He even preached in Muslim Granada, where his words stirred hearts long hardened against Christianity. But one final trial awaited him. De Luna, his old friend by now, still refused to step down as pope. Vincent, now frail but unshaken, stood before a vast assembly. And there, in the presence of De Luna himself, he declared what he long feared. Benedict XIII was not true pope. Gasps filled the air, silence followed. Then chaos. De Luna's followers abandoned him, and the schism at long last unraveled. Council of Constance would soon depose the remaining rival popes and elect Pope Martin V, restoring unity to the church. Vincent had done what even kings and councils could not do. He had brought the church one step closer to healing. By now, Vincent was exhausted. The fire that had burned so brightly was flickering, but never dimmed. He spent his last years preaching in northern France, his voice still strong, his mission unwavering. On April 5th, 1419, he breathed his last, but even in death, he did not rest. Miracles continued, and in 1455, he was declared a saint. So what can we learn from St. Vincent Ferrer? In an age of division, he sought unity. In a time of corruption, he preached truth. And when the world seemed lost, he reminded everyone that salvation was within reach, if only they could turn back to God. His story is not just history, it's a call to action. The question is, how will you respond? If you were moved by the life of St. Vincent Ferrer, don't just keep this story to yourself. Share this video, leave a comment on what inspired you most, and subscribe for more stories of faith that challenge and inspire. Until next time, keep seeking, keep believing, and never stop building up the church just like St. Vincent did. Bye-bye.